Hello, welcome. It's the really late night talk with romantic developer, and today we have our 190 number of our stream series. Initially, it was a challenge if I can do 152 days of streams about software development and topic related to my life and other hobbies. During that time, we built several projects. I could say even nice projects, helpful projects, but it's not getting a lot of traction because I've not spent a lot of effort to share more information about it in more nice and simple format. It's just in some README in GitHub repository as well, long streams on the channel. So most probably I need to do some videos, and I just can get myself into that as well. I have so many ideas for other things, for other channels, but again, yeah, it's all multiple things, and there are days like today when you spend the whole day with family because it's holiday, because it's yeah, there should be some days like that. You watch TV, you watch Inauguration, you watch the news about it because you feel that it would be a lot of impact, not only to our lives but lives of the whole world, life of multiple countries which are very distant from United States or pretty close to United States because of what's going on right now because of current inauguration. And of course you want to look at those people, what drives them, what they are capable of, and it's pretty interesting, pretty nice. You see how people behave, like how people in power behave, what they know about even such things like etiquette or things like, you know, how to talk, how to dress, and so on and so on. And you see that it's era of people who got a lot of money and they got a lot of power with that. And maybe it's not always the best people to rule, because one thing to have power over people who you pay some money, and completely different when you need to take a great responsibility for lives and for future happiness, success of the people who pay you money in their taxes and in their hard work and so on, so on. So it's not exactly the same thing. And I see good and best in that, and I don't want to go very deep today into some, let's say, let me check the stream. I just understand that I need to check it. It would be on my phone. So I'm going to my channel, and looking at my live channel, and okay, and it's working good. Nice. So let's put my phone here. Let's very quickly switch to my stream, to my environment, and I can just run stream command line. And what? Okay. It says my account, my tokens has been. And what is the token? We found token call. Okay, it looks like romantic developer token for romantic developer channel. And let's see if we can execute our chatbot and our transcriber service. And that would be our transcriber service. Let's make it slightly more font, slightly bigger, so we always can switch to that stream combination and talk to see how our bot behaves, because it's part of our product. Right now it's connected to external model GPT-4 or Mini, but we already saw how we can switch all external AI executions to local if we have at least some power in our computer or laptop. And when I say some power, we should have some graphical card from NVIDIA or even from AMD. We can use programs like Llama or others to easily execute our free open source LLMs like Llama 3.2, 3.3, and others. We try 5.4, 5.3, we've tried Qwen, and so on. So it will work nicely with transcribing and processing prompt on transcription, as we saw, but surely it will work pretty nicely with our chatbot when it needs to provide responses, especially if you don't have extra large amount of people in the chat, and our chatbot could provide very not responses, not like with high volume, so it should be fine. Okay, let's switch back. So you know that my chatbot it's authenticated, it's running. So today I don't want to go very deep into some software programs. I will not do my stream long, but I'll want to see what what to expect in the near future for us and for the world. So Trump already signed multiple orders which create well-known Doge, guided by Elon Musk and Vivek. I don't remember last name. Oh, I remember, but I don't want to be wrong. It has signed multiple orders to close southern border, to remove a citizen birthright for people which parents came into United States illegally or without a legal status in United States, as I understand. What else? Of course, very sensitive topic, especially for the current wars, is the decision to stop any outgoing help to countries for 90 days, unless they'll do some analysis if it's up to United States interest or not. Of course, it means that 3 months without financial supports for countries, and probably without military supports, but I'm not sure about military support. But yeah, it could be a case. But before that, I think Biden administration's, for example, in Ukraine case, it sent so many weapons and financial supply, so it should be good for another maybe half a year of war. Of course, Trump threatened that he will make additional taxes, about 25% for all the products from Canada and Mexico, which of course impact a lot on businesses in those countries. Also, he said that he probably could add about 100% in taxes for products which come from BRICS countries. And of course, if you talk about BRICS, it would be not only Russia, not only Brazil or India, which is not so good, but also China. As I understand, we have so many products from China, and I'm thinking about ordering something from Amazon. Most cases it would be from China, and it means it's go in price twice. I don't think we have everything to replace in the United States by local made things. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know if it make Americans happy. Also, it postponed ban of TikTok for 75 days, so it's just to get half of the TikTok, and it should belong to the United States. I don't know who, people, government itself or something. I really don't know, but yeah, they have 75 days to figure this out. Most probably it will stay, but I don't know, maybe in exchange they'll allow X to territory of China. Probably no, yes. Big Chinese wall or firewall. They created it not just to allow X into country, I think. Anyway, with current state of the things, with current AI and everything, of course, it's very dangerous to allow something somewhere, because it would be a huge amount of everything, propaganda and everything. And I like idea of free speech. Especially I like when you talk something about and not you not ask other people to kill someone or to hurt someone or to take something from others, etc., etc. So you're not doing some harm, but you are just providing your idea or your thoughts about something. You shouldn't be punished for that. It's usual case, for example, in such quote democratic countries, quotes like Ukraine or Russia, by the way. But it was the case in the United States as well, especially if you try to say something, for example, against vaccination or something else. So even if it's just your thought, it's treated as you ask other people to stop doing that, etc., etc. But I mean, people shouldn't be dumb. They should just research all points of views and make own decision. And it's fine to have some, I don't know, community notes, government notes, which say what government specialists or others nice people recommend you to do. So yeah, that's it. Maybe the only task I want to ask. I listened to inauguration speech of the Trump, and it sounds so fantastic. What I mean, fantastic. It was. I mean, I understand that he didn't say everything he wanted, maybe, or have in mind or did actions, but even those things which he said, I'd say I barely believe that if I heard something like that, like let's say 5 years ago. Now I expect more. I mean, I can accept much more. I can accept that aliens exist and we have contacts with them. I can accept that all this wars is just some decisions in some power club or whatever. So I used to make all theories, even craziest one. Now I provide them at least some percent of probability. Before I say it's not possible. Now I'm not so sure about anything in this world. So, but let's try one small exercise connected with AI. So I'll just go do transition to my screen, and let's go to GPT-4, and let's say ask, can you please return me the text of Trump inauguration speech 2025? Let's see, most probably it should exist somewhere in the web. Okay. Can you provide me please exact transcript of it? By the way, for full transcript, really, most probably that site is not free. Let's check. Let's check. No. Okay. Here's the transcript. Maybe it couldn't provide us because of some, I don't know, because of some possible copyright law, but it should be public, I believe. Okay, we copied too much. So let's try to clean our text slightly. Okay, let's just close something. I helped my wife with her channel, and I believe that is from here. So it's the full speech of Donald Trump. Let's go to some model. Maybe let's try with O1 reasoning model, which I believe many people can try. By the way, let's search for DeepSync v3 chat. It's a recent model from DeepSync. It's Chinese company. Oh, I need to use it with. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll log in because I don't have any password. I'm not a human. I'm sorry, I'm human. Okay. So it would be another option for us, and we can include DeepSync, and DeepSync, it would be version 3. So what is DeepSync? It's model which they train. Okay, they deliver some model which is completely open source and the MIT license. There are several models version. Some of those versions based on other models learnings which are not MIT licensed under GPU or some others. So as a result, not every model we can use completely, not for free, but make its own property, kinda. So let's find. I believe Ollama already added those models as well. If you look Ollama, yeah, they add DeepSync, which is freely available. You see, it's a lot of version of DeepSync here, including some of really large, like with 671 billion parameters. which weight about 404 gigabytes, and it would be I don't know which hardware you need to have to execute it. But there are smaller models like 8B or even 14B, which probably could be executed on my computer. And if you look into that, you'll see that, okay, there is no much information about that. So we probably need to go to their README. Yeah, they are under MIT, which is most of the, I think, most allowable license in the world. So you just take all the risk, and you can use whatever you want. You can change it, you can sell it, you can sell your products based on that, and so on and so on. So, and the DeepSync, as you see in that color, it's very, very close to OpenAI O1, and very nice that you can use it locally. Locally, of course, maybe to use full version you need a lot of hardware, but otherwise, come on, you can have O1 locally completely for free if you have a good software. So we'll try some questions here as well. So we'll close it. So now we have several models like O1 and DeepSync. And let's, oh, hello. Hi. Yeah. Hi, Ladla Prince. Today we are discussing some results about Donald Trump inauguration, and we are not going to code or doing any coding because it's pretty late, and yeah, I just want to slightly talk and try to think about how what's already made will be, how what's already made will change the world, and in which way. Of course it would change, and I just try to remember some of the orders signed by President of United States today, and try to think, okay, what it will do, what that will do, and so on. And I want to do some small exercise. I described very quickly a new model, DeepSync. It's available for free. You can read on you can get on Hugging Face, on their GitHub account, or also you can download it from Ollama. They just added it today. You see, not quite a long time ago. So just 5 hours ago, and they contain some models. And what is very cool is that about a performance of DeepSync R1, which is available for free. It's under MIT license, and the next is going as O1 model from OpenAI. And you see that in multiple ratings, let's say that it's performant mostly the same or very close to the O1 model, and even in some it's perform even better. So really cool. I really don't understand why DeepSync version 3, probably not R3, which they released just recently. So you see, it's very, very, very close to O1. Of course, it will not be as good as O3, but come on, O3 is not publicly available yet. And you can download all the versions and execute for free on your local machine, especially if you have some hardware, you can execute pretty cool models. So now I have got possible inauguration speech of possible President of the United States. I struggle to understand if this speech is from real life or is it from Space fiction. It's from a recent space fiction novel. Can you review it and provide probability chance that it is real, and what factors you can share confirming your value? Speech, and let's insert it and let's copy it. Okay, let's send here, and let's hopefully DeepSync allow us to do that number of sync as well. I know that type of question, I'm not sure how to approach the coding and logic problems. It's logic. Really, I think it's just overloaded with some people. It's logical question based on your general knowledge. Will it help? No. Nice, nice. But what if we disable DeepSync? Most probably it will not answer us as well. Hello, DeepSync. I did use some good. Okay. It's trying to sync now. Okay, and let's see what we have here. Okay, let's ask O1 Pro as well. And let's see what is O1 provided us. I really interested in it because, as I said, if I read, if I heard that speech maybe 5 years ago, I probably decided that it was completely fictional. Today, I understand that it's all possible, but yeah, it's always interesting to compare. I'm sorry. Hopefully you can see that. Below is review of speech along with approximate, so obviously not scientific probabilities that a genuine real-life inauguration speech rather than a piece of fiction or a hypothetical scenario. I will also list the factors. Overall assessments. Probability it's an actual real-life inauguration speech, about 0%. Okay. Main reasoning: the text contains numerous internal and external inconsistencies, references to events that have not occurred, or implausibly possible promises or actions that strongly suggest it's fictional or at least wholly speculative. Let's see. So future date. Let's keep it. Extraordinary and unexpected claims. The idea of changing the name of Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America and taking back the Panama Channel from Panama are extreme and unrealistic proposal. No official source or widely credible outlet has ever reported this as a real policy stance or planned executive orders. Rename Mount Denali back to Mount McKinley is technically possible at policy level, but the rhetorical context here, combined with the other far-fetched proposal, undetermines its credibility as real speech. Contradiction with known facts and established policy. The speech states that hostages have already been freed, but there is no documentation. Okay, we can skip. Let's see. Overly dramatic flair and sensationalism. The reference, a truly new era of national success, will fit more closely with the theatrical or fictional narrative than a typical passionate real-world inauguration. Real inauguration speeches, even highly dramatic ones, tend to follow certain rhetorical patterns, a call for unity, broad policy outlines, acknowledgments of immediate challenges. While some of those elements appear here, the level of hyperbole and detail about specific radical policies, launching Americans to Mars immediately goes far beyond what we see in actual inauguration speech. Yeah, mismatch with actual politics and legal processes, national emergency, deport millions and millions, eliminating the presence of all that odds with US law and executive power functions in reality. Yes, it was. Lack of any verifiable source of documentation. Conclusion. Given the future date, the absence of any real-world records of these events or statements, the numerous reference to hypothetical fantasy policy move, tone, this is small certain not a real historical inauguration speech. I was a virtual no chance that is genuine text from real life US immigration. Okay. Let's see what O1 Pro. It should do better reasoning, correct? Let's see what it did. So it's a real speech from today's inauguration of our elected and now President of the United States, Donald Trump. We asked ChatGPT Pro in that case that I'm not sure if it's possible inauguration speech, if it's real one or it's fiction. So I'd say is it from real life or it's from recent space fiction novel? Can we review and provide probability chance that it's real and what factors you included? And let's see. Okay, we need. So below is short analysis of why this text is not an authentic real-world inaugural address and why it's almost certainly a piece of political speculative fiction rather than yes, you know, I'd say it's a fiction 5 years ago. ChatGPT O1 Pro was trained on data which end of 2023. So it's basically, yeah, less than 1.5 years ago. And it says that overall conclusion, it's zero chance that it's a real delivered speech. I understand that it doesn't know about recent events, but it was a question. If someone who doesn't know about most recent events, like in past year, 1 year, what the chance that it's real speech? And you see, I mean, O1 Pro, I mean, I believe it should give it like maybe 5%, maybe 10%, which is really small, but it's something. But instead, you see, it provides that it's completely fictional. Okay, imaginary timeline. Okay, the speech proposal from January, but reference events didn't happen. We can skip it. Names and titles that are unverified or misaligned. Okay, events. Immediate return of millions and millions criminal aliens and deployment of US troops in way not approved by Congress also signals a break from typical inauguration rhetoric. Multiple internal contradictional or imperatical elements. The speech lumped together the or conflictates issues in a way that are legally or logistically improbable, like repelling all immigrants on day one, using Alien Enemies Act to eradicate entire criminal network overnight. Yes, natural speech tend to highlight broad terms, unity, or signature initiatives. By contrast, this text reads like a maximalist laundry list of policy steps more akin to a partisan rally speech or fictional scenario. The mention of cosmic exploration, planting the flag on Mars within the same series of day one executive orders about local issues, further underscores a sweeping fictional quality. Stylistic and rhetorical clues. Real inauguration speech, even if they contain bold language, typically also include outreach to both parties, historical notes on the continuity of government, gratitude to the national institutions, etc. The text does some of that, but the frequent reference to immediate mass deportation, total re-engineering of trade and education, or forcibly retaking foreign assets go far beyond the usual scope. Speeches from former US presidents in real inauguration are well documented in the congressional record and media transcripts. Okay, so that not exist yet. Okay, why is probability is essentially zero? Okay, impossible or unverified claims, contextual impossibilities. Many actions described would require extensive congressional authority, legal framework, or prior public debate, none of which is documented or plausible in that frame. So it's alternate future fiction. You know, from year ago, from maybe a year and a half ago, it sounds like alternative future fiction, but we live right in this world right now. Maybe you know what? Let's see deep. Okay, it's still syncing. I'm not sure if it's really syncing or not. Let's try to refresh the chat. So we have two chats, and for both chat it's syncing. Question is it really syncing or just some mistake and it didn't show it's well? I think it's mistake. Okay, maybe I'll ask some question and we can. What probable outcomes could happen in the world if we agree that the speech was really given by selected president of America. Let's say American with capital letter. Can you provide 10 most dramatic possible events after that inauguration? Of course, again, the chat GPT should know about some events, you know, like war in Ukraine for sure. Let's see. One thought only few seconds. Below is purely speculative look on 10 highly dramatic possibilities that might unfold if the speech you provide here in fact delivered by a newly inaugurated president of the United States. Immediate diplomatic crisis over the Panama Channel. So Panama would likely resist any US attempts to revoke. China, with significant economic interest in the channel, might respond imposing retaliatory measures or sanctions against US, potentially igniting a significant escalation. I think it could happen, you know, it could happen. It really could happen. Could trigger a major international standoff. You see, that is topic for several weeks already, and I don't see any major international standoff. Now, we have the rule of power. Who has power, then that person can dictate the rules. It's what we have. Global outcry over renaming the Gulf of Mexico. To rename would almost certainly infuriate Mexico and other Gulf states like Cuba, prompting diplomatic protest. Mexico could respond by halting or heavily taxing trade, imposing restriction on border crossing, or curbing security cooperation, leading to immediate economic and security headache for United States. I think it's vice versa. It's what Donald Trump doing right now. He's doing immediate headache for Mexico because he imposed a new tax of 25% on every product which cross border from Mexico to United States. As well, he declared all that criminal cartels of Mexico as terrorist organizations, which could lead to very serious response. Mass deportation, humanitarian concerns, an aggressive crackdown of illegal immigration combined with the new act in force might result in dramatic mass deportations. This would likely produce intense humanitarian crisis. Okay, with overwhelmed and images and stories circulating worldwide, damaging America's global standing or vice versa, because immigration problems actually are present not only in United States, it's all over the world, especially in Europe. Not many people. Why the people choose very right parties or leaders right now in Europe? Because they really struggle from, let's say, not very good immigration policy of European nation. So maybe it would be vice versa, create better America global standing, mass protest, civil disobedience, and perhaps legal challenges at all levels of the US court system. I don't think it will happen. Federal and state shutdowns and constitution crisis. Many states, cities, and local law enforcement agencies might refuse to enforce sweeping executive orders, creating real-time constitution confrontation. That could happen only if they will be highly supported by some democratic powers. Again, I don't think there is anything against Constitution of United States. It would be highly unlikely. It could be very tough. It could be very maybe it could be even not fall under Christian values, but surely it probably will not be against Constitution. Could sanctuary states could resist federal mandates, setting off a wave of lawsuit, potential defunding threats, and direct intervention by federal authorities, drastically straining the concept of federalism. Let's see. Economic shockwaves and tariff wars. Tariff wars already are in. Launching extreme external revenue services, ERS, not IRS, ERS, yes, to heavily tax foreign goods could spark immediate relationship from major trading partners. It's what going to do. Global markets could experience severe turbulence. It's what it's going to do. American firms dependent on global supply chains might relocate or shut down. Some probably do. But again, I believe then it would be so, some products could be move out of sanction of the tax. It could be provide some tax break. So everything for America, everything for America economy, not for others. Declaring the end to Green New Deal elements and ramping up fossil fuel production would trigger fierce backlash from environmental groups, many states, and numerous global climate organizations. Let's see, United States already left Paris Climate Organization, and let's see how many protests we will have. International climate. I think everyone is so shocked that they forget to protest. And so many people supports Donald Trump, and others are just shocked that, let's see, maybe it will start. But right now they're just looking and waiting when they could step in. Every day new deals, it's so aggressive. International climate accords with depend heavily on US cooperation could unravel. Okay, allies like EU, Europe might impose climate tariffs and other restrictive measures on American exports. Really? Really, really? No, I don't think they will play wars with America. Massive domestic protests and civil unrest, bold pronouns against radical political theories, and cancellation of diversity and inclusion initiatives. I don't think it's full cancellation, it's rather changing its sense. There are only two physical genders, actually. But I understand that other people could feel themselves differently and so on. I don't think it would be a problem. I believe there just will be no quotas for people who say I'm boy when they are born girl, and as vice versa, and some multi-gender or dependent situation of plural gender and so on and so on. I don't know all the names. But if you are a good specialist, I don't think anyone will look at that. But of course, that's are people, they always look for enemy, and if they will become enemies for someone, of course it would be pretty bad. Let's hope everyone will remain like people and good people. University schools district might openly defy federal mandates, leading to high-profile legal battles. I don't think so. I believe many people are sick of that. I'm sick of that propaganda, because one thing, respect every person, and other thing, when from very small age you are educated about that if you're born boy, not to be boy is a good thing. I don't think it's good. Military tension, foreign policy. What? Quagmires? Sending troops to border could escalate tensions. Okay, with neighborhood countries. You know, it's so provocative. U.S. Army is the strongest army in the world. U.S. spent on the army the more than maybe next 10 countries together. It's tension possible when countries are mostly of the same. But again, recent wars show that it's not so simple. Like Israel and Gaza. Israel fight more than 1 year to fully destroy Gaza, and of course, like city landscape looks like lunar landscape. Nothing is here. Everything is destroyed, but they couldn't fully control the territory. And like those Gaza sector is haven't access to all the to all the supplies and everything else. They couldn't buy something. It was completely blocked, and they still resist. And it was some peaceful negotiation after all. So today is not number of soldiers is a case, not price of technologies, but I'd say technology still playing a very big role. In Russian-Ukrainian war, technology level was pretty similar, and a lot of people from both sides. So that's why Russia winning is very slow. But if you took any other country, let's say any small country, and power of United States, of course it will not resist long. So probably will not be any tensions because of troops. Global realignment and alliances strains. Traditional allies in NATO, the Europe and other international looks like I missed some questions. Yes, no? Okay. Looks like it's restored. Okay, in the last internal government upheaval and loyalty purge, the new administration could attempt widespread firings or investigation within the civil service, intelligence community, justice departments. Such sweeping purge might prompt resignation or strikes among career government officials. Yeah, it's why Dodge was created, I believe. Final note. All of those hypothetical scenarios reflect extreme response to policy positions laid out in the speech. In reality, the actual US president face myriad constraints, legal, procedural, political, and diplomatic, making many of policies described in the speech difficult or impossible to implement in scale of or speed suggested. Okay, let's see DeepSync. Okay, most probably just mistakes, and we couldn't get answer on such large problems from DeepSync. And what is from O1 Pro, which is better version of O1. So yeah, it's warns us that it's just some hypothetical, purely hypothetical scenario, and they're not prediction, only speculative what if. Okay, legal challenges, constitutional crisis. Most probably not. Chaos at the southern border. So, massive logistic, humanitarian, diplomatic challenges for whom? For troop deployments at the border? Probably not. I believe they already built some part of that wall, and troops and other services like police and other agencies probably could stop that illegal migration at this moment, because we have a very big troops amount in the United States. Of course, it's not as big as maybe before. Not many people are ready to serve right now, but still it's sufficient number to stop illegal migration. I don't know about chaos, maybe something, but humanitarian crisis, hastily mass expulsion and detention of undocumented individuals could create refugee camps along border zones. It could happen. Let's see. Mexican-US relationship collapse. Most probably no. They will find a way to negotiate, because United States here on the winning side, they have much more instruments against Mexico than vice versa. And what is the third? Latin America and global outrage over Gulf of America. It would be global outrage, they rename it in America own documents. Most probably. I don't think it would be immediate international renaming. So everyone will call it Mexico, Gulf of Mexico, and only in America it will call Gulf of America. It's my guess. Attempted reclamation of Panama Canal. Most probably it will end, in that Panama will significantly review prices for United States ships, including Navy ships. Most probably it would be significant drop in price and increase of priority of those transportation. It's my guess. I don't think it would be any invasion or something. Intense domestic unrest and protest. I don't think it all will happen. Of course, some cities will protest because of illegal immigrations. They're safe cities, but let's see. I also live probably in safe city area, in Seattle area, so I could say you if I see something. Global financial term, oil and trade wars. Yes, it's something going to start, but looks like United States are ready for that. I'm not sure if other countries are ready for that. United States will survive, China will survive, Russia will survive, because Russia don't need many products. But other countries, especially European countries, I'm not sure if they survive easily, especially if they start that tax wars with United States. Environment and energy, drilling search. Okay, deals in jeopardy. Okay. No, it's signed today, and I didn't hear any great response yet. Military tension shifts. Yes, NATO will be shifted, and it will need to be yeah, it's now that it want to be peacemaker. Yeah, but the same aggressive stance. Yes, yes, it's what I noticed as well. The completely two different things. Okay, censorship and free speech. While the speech promise the end of government censorship, it also vows the eliminate critical race of gender studies and forbid certain topics from being taught or disseminated. That could provoke constitutional crisis. Probably not. The explicit declaration of only two genders trigger federal lawsuit. No, model, I think you need to be reteach now. Tech and media rebellion, probably no. More Mars mission frenzy and grandiose manifest destiny reveal. Abort pivot and find information essential. Okay, okay. Plan C and abrupt pivot in funding. Okay. Alien abandoned space cooperation. Allies abandon key partners like might withdraw from joint ventures if they see us pushing an aggressive solo manifest destiny approach. Space militarization. Okay, yeah, it would happen. But okay, let's see final thoughts. In these policies were truly enacted following an inaugural address, so sweeping in scope, it would usher in one of the most tumultuous periods in modern US history. Sorry, tumultuous. I don't know all the words, so but I will check some of them, both domestically and internationally. I understand the meaning, but they're not in my dictionary. Legal battles, civil unrest, and global backlash would inevitably dominate headlines. Again, these are speculative dramatization rather than prediction or recommendation designed to illustrate how extraordinary and destabilizing such policies could be in practice. Okay, we saw that. So most probably it's, I'd say, O1 is overreacting. O1 is overreacting, like me overreacting like 3 years ago if I heard something like that. I believe people used to things much faster than one can predict. All of those things people eat mostly silently, let's say that. I don't think it's a good and proper way of moving forward, because it's not about building and peacemaking, but it's more like destroying the old, and in place of old creating something which maybe take much more time, effort than not destroying but changing. But again, sometimes you need to destroy to build something. Sometimes you can replan or change something. So it depends. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty. It was pretty unfriendly speech if we talk about using all the wisdom. But at the same time, I'm not so sure if even if it will be much more wisdom in the speech, much more friendliness, if it would help to achieve the goals of current administration. For sure, even using ChatGPTs, you see that we step into the world of high turbulence. Of course, it will not pose any danger to what we are doing. It's not pose any danger to software development and engineering, because it will go very parallel path to everything else which is right now people are doing. Of course, it will not pose danger to electrical vehicles, because I believe the future is theirs. And I don't think we have any risks that AI future will not come. It will probably will come even faster, because if we have more energy, we have more factories which can produce some CPU, GPU chips, and of course it all will be invested into the AI resources. And what I said before, that we will see that world where more and more people could be replaced by even not so sophisticated AI things. Yeah, we'll probably see this world. So yeah, that is my prediction. So in future streams we need to, yeah, I'll still explore the topics of applying some software patterns in addition to AI to achieve something, some helping things which could save some labor, at least for myself. Now I have some friends who also used my tools, so I received some requests from them. So yeah, it proves it could be helpful, because it's, especially for longer video or even for small video, it's provide you a good starting point. For longer video, it's just do much more work, and you can mostly just review it and publish. In some cases I publish without reviewing, and in most cases it's fine. So you see, it's really saving a good amount of time. And I have new requests, so probably we'll look into them. At the same time, yeah, looking how we can implement this in more generic and more clever way as well. Okay, despite all the recent events, I hope we will have a beautiful future. Hopefully that future will make some of our dreams reality. And yeah, so I see that future maybe will be not for everyone, but I believe, I mean, what I mean not for everyone, like always, if you have something in your life, or your, like your family which you love, or hobby which you do, or work which you like to go to, and you don't think that your work, I don't know, is something bad, but you just try to enjoy that, and you try to find joy everywhere, it would be one category of people. And other category of people which we just, you know, not live but exist, they will handle the upcoming future more with more challenges, let's say that. So hopefully you will have or find something which give you yeah, desire to wake up, to go to bed, and to achieve something. Yes. Okay, I think for today it would be it. I need go prepare for my working day. I couldn't work for myself yet. I still working for some company, even it's good company and nice work. I need work on my motivation and on some of my rest, so I can do my work not bad, let's say that. And yeah, I'll try to achieve something tomorrow in area of work, something in my area of my hobbies, at my home organization, and hopefully you can do the same the very same things. And see you tomorrow, or maybe whenever you are ready. I'll try to do. I'm not stopping doing my daily streams. They're not always at the same time, but mostly they are about 10 p.m. Pacific time. Slightly early in India, but slightly late for United States. So maybe that's why we don't have a big attendance, but it's fine. I like the atmosphere, and I like you who communicate with me, who leave in comments, and who propose something. And yeah, hopefully it will continue. Okay, guys, see you. Have a great day, night, whatever.